Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're looking at Euphoria Season 2, Episode 1. I think it's got a long name, like trying to get to heaven before they close the door. Before we go into this, this won't be a usual recap and review like how I usually do with some of my other shows like Yellow Jackets and stuff like that. This show is just not needed to talk about every single scene in full detail. So it's not a murder mystery. You're not trying to figure anything out. It's just a show where you just sort of take in, relish it, just like be in the bliss and the vibe and like the embrace of Euphoria. Like, it's just that good to where you just feel it, you know? And this video, I just want to put a video out there just talking about the things I like, maybe discuss some of the things, maybe where I think this season might go, like some theories here and there. But really, this Euphoria is one of my favorite shows. The first season was amazing in so many ways, like probably one of the most well-written, well-put-together, like well-looking show like ever made. Like, it's seriously, cinematography and just like the vibes and the atmosphere and the characters are so good. And season 2, this first episode, just goes to prove that it's going to continue that pace. It's going to continue being on that level of greatness. So before we go into it, please make sure you like this video if you guys have been enjoying it. Please make sure to subscribe if you're new. But let's discuss a little bit on Euphoria Season 2, Episode 1. So first thing I want to talk about was Fez. This was, in a lot of ways, Fez's episode. He was by far, for me, like the fan favorite of this episode. He was the best character for me. Just in the very beginning, there was so much character depth in 13 minutes showing Fez's grandmother, played by, I think her name was Catherine Danucci, who, I mean, a lot of Italian heads are going to know her from Sopranos, A Bronx Tale, The Irishman. That was so great. And Sopranos is my favorite show of all time. To see her as Fez's grandmother, just perfectly casted. I love seeing her there. But like I said, those first 13 minutes give us all that background on Fez, and they were able to build up his character and give him so much depth in such a short period of time. And that's just a testament to the writing. Like, not every show can do that. You have to understand that. Like, it's sometimes really hard to, build up backstory. Some shows take a whole season just to try to, fill in some gaps into a character's past. Meanwhile, with Fez, in 13 minutes, we have to know so much more about him and make him so much more of a better character because of those scenes. Again, right away, I mean, like, the camera placement, the camera movements of this show is unlike anything I've ever seen. Like, the cinematography, like, on a technical level, the show is beautiful in so many ways. And so, with that beginning, after that backstory, we get to see Rue in the back of the car with Fez. And I think his name is Ash, right? Or the Ashtray Kid, his like little brother or whatever. And we got to know more about him as well, and built up his character as well with that Fez's backstory. But then there's just so much tension right from the get-go, from that car scene up until the very end, as we see, like Fez is doing a drug deal, Ruse gets brought along, she gets dragged out of the car, gets put into that house, like is forced to strip naked, everyone. Like, it was just so much tension, so much suspense, and so much excitement in the very beginning. I thought that was great of the show, is to just have us start out with like that much tension in the very beginning. Another great thing about this episode was the music. I mean, just so many great song choices. Like, not even with the rap stuff. Like, you got Biggie, Tupac, like DMX towards the end. I Don't Want to Do Your Dirty Work, which is another Sopranos classic that's used the lines, like, sort of, goes hand in hand, Sopranos and Do Your Dirty Work. And then once we get to the party, we see Cassie and Nate are going to have some sort of relationship now, which is, I thought this was very surprising. I was sort of taken aback by this. I wasn't expecting this relationship to bloom. But it makes sense. I mean, like, Cassie's best friends with Maddie. Nate is best friends with Mckay, which I don't know why Mckay's still sticking around. Like, the dude's in college, right? Why is he still hanging around like high school parties? But I thought that whole scene where they're like making out in the bathroom, like Maddie's trying to get in, another just like high tension scene where you're just like, you want Cassie to not get caught or whatever, right? And then, to see her in the shower and, Maddie's talking to the dude, just a lot of suspense in this episode. And throughout this whole episode, man, dude, I was just smiling throughout this whole episode. It's just I'm so glad to have this show to be back on. It really is just so well done. And like, if you know someone that like isn't watching this, like, nobody should be depriving themselves of the show right now. It's just so good. And another funny thing was when like Maddie throws like her piss towel at Cassie. Like, I thought that was funny. I laughed at that, even though it was disgusting. It was also sort of like sad to see Rue back on her drug kicks. I mean, like, throughout this whole episode, she's just on drugs throughout the whole entire time. Good character development for her though, because it's sort of like, yeah, it unwinds everything she went through in the first season. Like, she tried to go through so much, but she's now relapsing all because of Jules, right? So it gives her good motivation for like why she's doing it. And it's gonna be exciting to see like what her journey is with that drugs now in another season. We also get that new character to where she meets him in the washer room. I don't know if there was a name drop for him yet, but I do know he will be a big part moving forward. I think I heard rumors are true, I think he's gay and he's like the best friend now of Rue and Jules. I don't know like what they're gonna do with him. I'm sure he's gonna have some good scenes. But we get for him to be first introduced here, where he's also a druggie. And him and Rue share some drugs in that washing machine room. Another thing I liked about this episode was a relationship between Lexi, Cassie's sister, and Fez. They're polar opposites, like Lexi's like this smart, intelligent girl. Fez acts like he only has like one brain cell in his whole head. And to see them like, I ship that relationship so hard. Obviously, it's not smart for Lexi to get involved with Fez. And I think like why they're doing this, I feel like this is just a prediction or a theory. I feel like because we have so much emphasis on Fez in this first episode, we see this relationship with Lexi that is just, I feel like it's set up to be doomed. Like, there's no way that relationship can happen in Fez's world, I feel like, or Lexi will not like support it that much. I don't know. I feel like they're going to kill off Fez in this season. It's just one of those classic things shows do, that when, you know, they put more emphasis on a character, like right before they kill him off, so that we feel more for that character. And I feel like that's what's going to happen here. We also get that scene between Mckay and Cassie where Mckay is trying to figure out like what's going on, like why is Cassie not like I think Cassie must have broke up with Mckay. Mckay sort of gets the hint that like she must have cheated on him. The scene after this where Nate like presses Mckay, I think this shows that Nate is now going to be protective of Cassie as much as he was with Maddie in that first season. We all know Nate's got like those anger issues, that protective, you know, jealous feeling that he always gets with Maddie. I think he's going to feel that now with Cassie. And, you know, I can't wait to see like what that's going to happen. There's so much that could happen there with that relationship. After this, we also see probably one of the best scenes of the whole episode, if not the whole episode, like the best scene, was Rue and Jules when they kissed again, like the music drops. I love like the shadowing and the back and forth between their faces that they kept going blurring out. Like Rue's face would go into black and then we'd like go into Jules' face. It just sort of shows like how connected they are, you know, in this whole series. And I just thought like their kiss and like with the music and like the flashes with like the camera, just so well done. Like as a film junkie, it just looks and feels so good. And at the very end, we get that awesome scene between Fez beating up Nate. Just another great scene. And it's so great seeing Nate's face get pummeled by Fez. It was awesome. And then the episode ends, and that's it. And I have to give, on my rating for this episode right now, it's a 4.6 out of 5. There's definitely like a little bit room for improvement. Like, and I only know that because the show will get better at some point. Like, there will be better episodes in this first episode, and I'm saving that 5 out of 5s for those episodes. But this was a phenomenal start, and this show just continues to prove to be on a different level than anything I've ever seen before. I mean, like, I'm not going to start comparing it to Breaking Bad and Sopranos and stuff like that, but it's definitely up there as like one of the best shows ever made. And it's just in its own league of its own, like it's its own tier. Because I think on a filmmaking level, it's better than anything. Just the vibes and the atmosphere. You get put into a trance when you watch this show. You get transported into this world, into this story. And like I said, testament to the acting by Zendaya and everyone else involved, the writing, the cinematography, it creates this perfect blend of television that like we've never seen before. And so that's why I like to gush over Euphoria, and it's just something I love to praise. And then we also got to see the trailer. I don't know if you guys saw it, like the trailer for the rest of the season sort of happened like after the credits. The only thing I want to talk about there is like who is Rue calling at that, like throughout the whole trailer we see her trying to call someone. She says a line like, oh, what happens if you go back to the start? I thought maybe she would call her mom, but her mom is still around, right? Like we still don't know about her dad though. So I feel like maybe she's calling her dad and her dad could play a part. It'd be like a new interesting character that is supposed to be important to Rue. And I could see them, you know, there's a lot that could happen there as, you know, Rue deals with a father that maybe wasn't around. Could be a lot of good scenes there. But what do you guys think of Euphoria episode 1? I don't know what I plan to do with this show for my channel. Like I said, it's not a show that needs to be like critiqued or theorized about. It's just something you relish, and it's just something like this whole video was me just like gushing over the whole episode. So unless this video ends up getting a lot of views, which I don't think it will because I put out a little bit late anyway, unless you guys want to talk about like every single week and like gush over it, like I'd be down for that. But if it ends up just not doing as good as I want, then I'll just do a season 1 review at the very end and slap a rating on it, and that'll be it. But let me know down below, what do you guys think of this episode? Do you want me to continue covering this show as I'm doing now? We can just talk about it in the comments, have a good time with it. But let me know what you guys think. Please make sure you like this video guys. I'm enjoying it. Please remember to subscribe if you're new. I will see you on the next video. Have a great rest of the day.